politics.
And we're out of time.
Hey, all gravity, any day above ground, live it. Hope everyone's doing well today. Hope everyone's doing well today. I didn't say anything before because I wanted y'all to really look at what you're seeing on the screen right now. This is Dexter Taylor. And no more evident than May 13th, as you listen to this broadcast from start to end, or you come in later and you just pick out parts, I will make sure on this one, because this one is very important for Black empowerment and for Black people, that you consume the information that I'm going to present to you here today. Because shout out to the vanguards who always tell us that there's different rules for us. Dexter Taylor, a native New Yorker such as myself, was just convicted today of creating ghost guns. Now, for those who don't know what ghost guns are guns that you make with a 3D printer, which he started doing in 2020 when everybody was sitting home. Now, he, as testified, was never planning on selling them. He just wanted to create them. He needed to do a hobby while everybody was sitting home during the scamdemic. He gets 10 years, family. 10 for creating ghost guns and didn't sell it to anybody. Had them in his house. The cops, the pigs, they go in his house, raid the shit. Arrest this man. For what? For what? For creating? They arrested this man for his time. They arrested this man for his creativity. They arrested this man because he was doing something lawful. But they like to tell you that they're here to protect you. They like to tell you that they're here, that they have these laws on the books to make sure that the criminal element doesn't get too big, even though the ones that are creating the law are the ones wearing the crown of the criminal element. once again, this man, who I believe is in his mid 30s now, is going to have to sit down for 10 years for just doing something in his house. As we approach this information today, not only are you going to see what I've procured regarding this case and other cases around the country involving ghost guns, but in a little while, we're going to listen to a Twitter space. Shout out to Jeff Charles and Donnie the Misfit on X. They're going to be talking with Dexter Taylor's lawyer. Now, those two have been in constant contact with that man, and shout out to them for that. And we're going to hear what the lawyer had to say. But family, we all know, as we've been taught by the vanguards, there's different rules for us. They see us coming, they put down the obligatory mainstream playbook, and they take out the one that's stamped that says Black people are automatically guilty. And the funny thing about this is I haven't said anything about this because I wanted to see everything play out before I really sit down and really dissect it. But I'm just curious. This is probably going to be the only time I'm going to call people out. I kind of want to see you Black conservatives out here that were pro cop and used to be police, and you always stand with the cops. I want to see what y'all going to say about this. I really want to hear y'all's commentary on this, because I have a strange feeling y'all going to say that this man did something illegal, which just goes to show you once again that y'all don't know anything about that Constitution you like to talk about. But before we get into everything, let's see who is in the building. In the building. I think I said building. I might have said building. My bad. I wasn't watching Saved by the Bell. I'm just saying building, whatever. Anyway, let's go. Let's see who's in the building. Wallow J was here, but I'm sure he'll be here later. Reparations Nation, hello. Jerry Bedford, hello. Key Prince, hello. Brother Torian Rain, hello. Torian, your 400 levels might go up to about 7 when we're finished here. William Morant, hello. Miss Nisi, hello. John Guillory, hello. And for those who haven't said anything, maybe that's the FBI come to get me. Okay. Anyway. Right. Anyway, for those who haven't said NTMT, hello. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, good afternoon. And V Malsby, hello. All right, so 2 of the 4 of Set It Off is in the building. All right, let's begin, family. And we're going to begin with this because I need y'all to see something. I need y'all to see something. Let me move this real fast to the end because I don't want to get confused. I want y'all to see something. We're going to do a lot of teaching and a lot of learning today. But we're going to start off with this. Teach your children this. Every child in America, especially our children, needs to know this.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
3, 2, 1. Via the American Prospect. Now, this happened way back in 2005. What if I told you that the headline you see here, even though this was written in 2022, this is in regards to a ruling back in 2005 that Bush's Supreme Court put in that says the cops, the pigs, 12, one time, the Jump Out Boys, all those gangs they have out there in LA, they're not supposed to protect you. They're under no legal obligation to protect you. I have said on this platform many a time, all the cops are for is to uphold the public trust and protect businesses. They're not for the individual citizen. So let's read. Police have no duty to protect the public. Though often unsaid in police reform debates, numerous court precedents have established that cops aren't obligated to act in the interest of citizens. And of course, they showed New York City. Now, this is the subway station, 36th Street, where Frank James did that bullshit that they tried to blame black men on. And subsequently, they destroyed the black manosphere. Yeah. So we're just going to skip the Frank James stuff. Here we go. All of these questions are situated in the traditional belief that police are there to proactively prevent and de-escalate dangerous situations. The average citizen has been convinced of this imagery of police as heroic and uniquely brave citizens, despite being debunked by both the actions of police forces and the courts themselves. Let us go back 11 years to February 2011 in the very same place, New York City. As he told in a crack.com video some 4 years ago, Joseph Lozito was on his morning commute through New York City when he hopped on the subway, blissfully unaware of a brutal stabbing spree perpetuated by Maxim Gelman that has been going on for over 24 hours at that point. Lozito would be the final victim in the stint. After Gelman boarded the train and confronted the police officers that were in a secure area, he turned to Lozito and said, "You're gonna die." What transpired afterwards was what Lozito described as, quote, what every man thinks about at least twice a day. Lozito tackled Gelman and they struggled physically, with Gelman stabbing Lozito in the head until they both hit the ground and Lozito disarmed Gelman. Only then did the NYPD officers intervene to apprehend Gelman. So basically what Lozito said was they stood around and watched. They watched a crime taking place and they did nothing. In this case, one of the cops allegedly admitted that he did not intervene in the altercation because he thought Gelman had a gun, instead hiding from the attacker. Interesting. You thought he had a gun. Huh. Interesting. Who wants to debunk this lie? You thought he had a gun? Or did you think because he was white, he didn't seem dangerous? That's not dangerous. You saw this happening on a train. You saw this man stab a man in the head and y'all didn't intervene, right? I ain't even gonna say it. But we're melanated folk over here. You know what I was about to say, but we're not going to say, because I want these punk ass conservatives to try to come up in here and tell me, oh, you're making it about that word. Continuing. This prompted Lozito to sue the city of New York. He lost the case in 2013, but not because the Manhattan Supreme Court judge didn't believe him, or because he lacked evidence, or because cops had a good reason for not intervening. Lozito lost because of a precedent established by the U.S. Supreme Court. The cops do not have a duty to protect you or anyone. In 2005, Jessica Gonzalez sued Castle Rock, Colorado police for failing to arrest her husband, who had violated a protective order, resulting in the deletion of her 3 children. Her case went to the U.S. Supreme Court in the town of Castle Rock v. Gonzalez, where she lost because even though the order required arresting her husband upon violation, then Justice Antonin Scalia successfully argued that a, quote, well-established tradition of police discretion has long coexisted with apparently mandatory arrest statutes. So they're telling you, even if you have something on paper, something that is enforceable, the cops still can play 50-50 with your life. Continuing. Make sure y'all have y'all spiral notebooks out. The case builds upon Supreme Court precedent in DeShaney v. Winnebago County Department of Social Services in 1989. In that case, a young boy was repeatedly abused at the hands of his father, something that county social services was aware of, but made no effort to remove the child. His mother sued once the 4-year-old entered a vegetative state, and the court ruled that the state did not have a special obligation to protect the citizen against harms it did not create. Interesting. Based on these precedents, Lozito was told in the New York City case that, quote, no direct promises of protection were made to him, and therefore he could not sue the police for failing to come to his aid. Excuse me. In other words, the police do not have to act if someone is actively being harmed. They do not have to arrest someone who has violated orders, and they do not have any obligation to protect you from others. So, who has heard that glorious saying that the cops, especially the ones in New York, have said? To protect and serve, right? To serve the public interest and protect businesses. To protect businesses and serve the public trust. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? All that tax money we're paying, and they could see us getting our asses kicked, and they could keep it moving. Isn't that beautiful? Then they get mad when they hear songs from NWA and Ice-T, and they get called out by their what they call it, their nicknames, like the Jakes, the Jump Out Boys, 12. They get upset. Well, I guess we have another reason now to get at y'all. Interesting. People are still expected to call the police, and many still do, especially given the lack of alternatives. But to criticize their effectiveness in solving crimes in the aftermath furthers the propaganda. It assumes that the police are acting in the interest of the public where there is no precedent that says they have to. Police reform activists have something was in my eye. Police reform activists have posited that the purpose of policing is not to protect the public, but instead to maintain the status quo that keeps capitalism alive. The first modern day police were slave catchers. Their only interest was your body for their profit. Whatever their true purpose, the legal fact remains that public benefits from policing are incidental at best. AKA case by case basis. So once again, all y'all that came outside and want to defend them cops when they take people down, citizens down, what have you got to say about that? You better hope to God one of them cops know you. You better hope they consume your content or you going down. They'll watch you at the club get your ass kicked and they'll just sit there and take it. They'll talk to security or they'll talk to some chick on the line. Again, I want to say this. I want to see what y'all going to say about this because this is in your wheelhouse. This is about the rights of the individual. And shout out to Derek Taylor. Maybe this will help you in your commentary. He didn't act like no victim. Since y'all like to run your mouths about us and our victimhood and our victim mentality. He didn't act like a victim. He stood 10 toes down and told them what it was. Speaking of that, and we're going to get back to more things that the Supreme Court said, but speaking of what I just said, would y'all like to know what they said? The judge, what she said to old Derek, Mr. Taylor? Would you like to know what she said? Oh, yeah, we're going to show it.
You know, let me go here. There's I'm gonna move on. There's a growing concern.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't this scream bias? A state judge told a man that in New York State, your Second Amendment doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Your right to peacefully bring a militia together when the government is out of line, that doesn't exist. Your right to bear arms in New York State, I didn't say New York City, I said New York State. It does not exist. Now, she could have just been talking about New York City. But we know how the government, when they get their hooks into something like this, they start pushing everything out. Interesting. Let's see. Dexter Taylor. Oh, he was in his 50s. I thought that. See, black don't crack. I thought he was in his 30s. My bad. Yeah, well, shout out to the brother though. You still look good for 52. I ain't gonna hold you. Dexter Taylor is a 52-year-old native New Yorker and a software engineer who enjoys building things. When he discovered the world of gun manufacturing, he believed he had found a new hobby and possibly a small business opportunity. Now he's locked in a legal battle for his freedom against the state of New York. I spoke with Taylor on my podcast where he laid out the story. He had decided to start building firearms and purchase various parts online using his credit card. Quote, ever since I was a kid, I was really, like most red-blooded American kids, I was interested in guns and tanks and fighter planes because it was cool, he said. Recalling getting interested in gunsmithing 3 or 4 years ago. The jury found Taylor guilty of second-degree criminal possession of a loaded weapon. 4 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon, 5 counts of criminal possession of a firearm, second-degree criminal possession of 5 or more firearms, unlawful possession of pistol ammunition, violation of certificate of registration, prohibition on unfinished frames or receivers. 2 lesser charges, including third-degree criminal possession of 3 or more firearms and third-degree possession of a weapon, were not voted on. They're so nice. They are so nice. Aren't they nice? Aren't they wonderful? They said we're going to rack up all these charges on you. But these small ones, yeah, nah, we're going to throw you a bone. We're not going to vote on those. We already got you on everything else. What's another couple 2 to 10 years? What's another? Come on. We got what we wanted. It's not the fact that you did what you did. We got a precedent to fuck with everybody else. I see y'all's comments. I haven't read them. I got 21 over there. Make sure you hit the like. I need everybody to understand what's going on here. Share it with your people. Taylor, a 52-year-old New York native and software engineer, the software engineer, discovered the world of gunsmithing years ago. He decided to take it up as a hobby and possibly turn it into a business later. However, when a joint ATF NYPD task force discovered he was legally buying parts from various companies, they opened up an investigation that led to a SWAT raid and arrest. Do you understand what I just read? I'll say it again. However, when a joint ATF NYPD task force discovered he was legally buying parts from various companies, they opened up an investigation that led to a SWAT raid and arrest. He left y'all the paper trail to prove that he's not doing anything illegal, and y'all still gave him 10 years. Before we continue, let's see what these comments look like. Oh, more people walked in. I didn't even see y'all. Zava Xavier, hello. Don P, hello. Steven Samham, hello. Seven Samham, hello. You seem new, but welcome. Let's see. Anybody? CGI Kid Productions, hello. Solo T40, hello. So he legally bought it. But hey, you still did something illegal. Okay.
And all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
All right. The most alarming part of this is what the Judge Abena Darkeh, said to the defense. The Second Amendment doesn't exist in her courtroom. Here's Charles, who followed Taylor's case, pointing out the hypocrisy in the New York court system. So this was his tweet. In New York, you can smother a toddler to deletion while high on methamphetamine with no consequences. But if you build your own firearms for your own use, you could be facing almost 2 decades in prison, just like Dexter Taylor. Just insane. Now, here's a tweet from James Woods, suspected white supremacist, but he might be more confirmed because of some of the bullshit I've seen him talk in the last couple of weeks. But okay. New York judge, the Second Amendment doesn't exist here. Do not bring the Second Amendment into this courtroom. It doesn't exist here, so you can't argue the Second Amendment. This is New York. Judge Abena Darkeh said, Darkeh or Ka, whatever the fuck, suggesting that the Second Amendment doesn't apply anywhere she doesn't preside over. Because I saw that tweet. Now, I want y'all to understand, Black women, those that are on code, I want y'all to understand this. This is going to be the same situation that happened with Kuntanji. When bullshit happens, they're going to blame you. This is why I told y'all 2 years ago, go get that summit started and denounce these chicks. This mammy right here is now the face of fucking over 2A rights. I'm talking about the whole amendment. The whole amendment. The whole amendment. So the Second Amendment doesn't exist in New York. Good to know. That alone should be grounds for, at a minimum, a mistrial, and then the judge should be censured. Your rights exist in every courtroom. So this person said, interesting how she's trying to put a black man in jail for doing nothing illegal. We're existing. That's illegal to them. We're already violating the law when we come out of the womb. They think there's something called evolutionary law, and we are the Neos in the Matrix. We are Morpheus. We buck the system. More people are here. Demetrius Shepard, hello. Circadian Rhythm, hello. Seven Samhan said, but everyone should be outraged because constitutional law trumps state, but again, white, and I say so, she a tether. I'm only just saying, or rather asking. We could find out, you know, this is what we do here. We could find out. That's not an issue. I do see the Caribbean in her, but she could be African. You can tell by the forehead. They did well to hide her stuff. But let's see. We are on the New York City criminal court page. Let's see. So she's a young one. No, she's not that young. She got on the bench in 2015. Let's see what this is. No picture. Of course, she's the Bumsio appointee. Of course she is. Black history and culture celebrated at criminal court. Well, well, well. Huh? Oh, I got to pay for this? You know what? I'm finna pay for this. Give me 1 second, family. I'll be back in a second. We need this. I'll pay the $1 for 24-hour access. I need to see what this woman talking about. She gonna talk about black. Boy, here we go. Here we go. Black history. Everybody want to talk black history now. Everybody wants to talk black history. Everybody black now. Everybody's black. Why are you taking so long? What? Okay, that's fine. Do I have access? Please tell me. Yes, we have access. We go back. We have access. Okay, let's see. Black history and culture celebrated at criminal court. This was back in 2019. Okay, great. What? Public school students took part in a recreation of the Great Migration in Brooklyn. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. And there it is. In the spirit of our connection to West Africa, in particular, and the continent in general, this place today has been renamed Sankofa Station. Here we go. Okay, so she's African. So she's African. Okay. I should have noticed by the last name. She's African. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to go over to X and hear that space. I hope they started it. Let me check it in 1 second. Let's see. Trellis Law. Let's see what y'all got. The honorable. She wasn't honorable there. There it is. Bam. There it is. She's Gahanian. There it is. All right. Seven Sam Hand. Thank you for leading me down this rabbit hole. Thank you for holding the door, because most of y'all won't come down there with me. I get it. There you go. She's Gahanian. Isn't that wonderful? Tia to you. Hello. Isn't that wonderful? She's Gahanian. You threw that man in jail for having legal guns. Okay, good. The space started. Let's get it. Switch. Switch.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern
after he was convicted. So hopefully there will be getting more attention on this. So he was sentenced to 10 years, and obviously there is going to be an appeal. Both Dexter and his attorney, Benu, are dedicated to fighting this to the very end. So it's not over yet. But with that, actually, before I go to Benu, Donnie, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Sam, thank you for the cash app.
I did. I wanted to highlight what the district attorney Gonzalez said, confirming my beliefs that this is a political attack. Obviously, Dexter is a political prisoner. The district attorney Gonzalez said, "Ghost guns are a threat to New Yorkers everywhere, and my office is working tirelessly with our partners in law enforcement to stop their proliferation. Today's sentence should send its message to anyone like the defendant, Dexter Taylor, would try to evade critically important background checks and registration requirements to manufacture and stockpile these dangerous weapons. Every ghost gun we take off the street is a win for public safety. These tyrants need to go."
Facts.
Yeah, and that's one thing, and we'll get into this. And the article I just wrote about this update, I'm going to put in the show notes here. But that's one thing that Dexter said when you and I talked to him last week, Donnie. He said that the leaders of New York are lying about public safety. Like, they're making it sound like this is about public safety when it's not. It's about control, because Dexter Taylor was never a threat to a single person.
Facts.
He was never threatening anybody. He had a clean criminal record. He was a member in good standing with his local gun range. This man was not a violent criminal. So when they say that this is about public safety, it's a very clear lie. So with that, let's go to Benu. Can you kind of give us the rundown on everything that happened today?
Hey, Jeff, happy to. It's Vinu, just like Vin and U, but thanks, buddy. I'm sorry. There was let me tell you something. Dexter, as I've mentioned this before, he is a unicorn. He is a unique, amazing human being. He was smiling. When I saw him today in the pens area, so the area behind the court where we can meet with them, defense attorneys can meet with their clients before we get into the courtroom. So happy. And he was fully aware that the DA, the district attorney's office, had asked for 10 years. We had hoped, I had asked the judge in written submission to give 3.5, which is the mandatory minimum on the charge and to run the rest of it concurrently, meaning at the same time, as opposed to on top of one another. The DA, so we get into the courtroom, the judge asks, Judge Darkeh asks, do the people, the government, do they want to say anything? And they said, no, Judge, we'll rely on our written submission, which was 10 years. So then they asked me whether you wanted to say something. And so then I did. I went into his history, how he had no criminal record, how this was a native son of New York, a person who grew up in Brooklyn and Queens and did so much for the community. If you've seen or had a chance to read my sentencing submission, this kid educated, when I say this man, excuse me, when he was younger, educated kids in the projects, in the Gowanus houses in Brooklyn, right past the Red Hook area of Brooklyn. This man has done so many things for so many people, would give free tutorials on YouTube on how to code. I mean, the outpouring of support. One of the letters that I received was from a woman who was a prosecutor in Virginia. They've known each other for 40 years. And she said, though, even though Dexter violated the letter of the law, certainly the legislature could not have envisioned Dexter Taylor when it created these draconian laws in New York punishing people for gun possession. And I went off that theme. Then Dexter spoke, and he spoke. He was allowed to be uncuffed in order to read a statement that he had prepared.
Why did he need to be
And
cuffed?
he spoke about the need to continue the fight against the state. And while he was doing this, now he and I spoke about this. Let me before I get more into what he said. He and I spoke about this in the back, and I said, Dexter, I'm not sure it's going to have an impact either way, but you want to make a statement. And I knew he was going to make a quote unquote political statement. And I said, that's not going to win you any points with the judge, but I don't think it mattered.
It didn't matter,
either
man.
way. She was going to sentence
sir.
him
Hang
to
on
a
one second.
harsh term of imprisonment. I had hoped with the DA asking for 10, the max being 15.
Sir, you know better than that. You know better than that. Come on, Mr. Lawyer.
Whatever it is. That's what I was hoping, because my hope was that it would be great if, while the case is pending, that he could be, out. So he then speaks, and he he talks about the need, and he read about our society. He talked about our society from its founding and how important it was to respect the laws and respect people, whether it's the district attorney. And he called the DA his honorable adversaries. He's a better man than me, and I'm an attorney, and I'm an officer.
That's bars. He don't get it.
So then he showed respect to the judge, and he spoke about the need to change the laws and society. We've reached out to the court reporter to get an expedited transcript. Hopefully we'll get it in the next day, hopefully, but sometimes these reporters can take much longer. So as soon as we get it, we'll share it. Now, after Dexter spoke and he had the room and it was filled, half the room was filled with his supporter. The other half of the room was filled with district attorney DIs, and these are detective investigators. So there's NYPD.
Talk to him.
And some of them, I think, were NYPD officers in plain clothes.
Calvin, I got plenty.
There were New York State court officers, but they're on the same side of the rail that Dexter and I on, and the prosecutors are on, and the judge is on. So behind us, on one half of the room, was was his parents, his friends.
Damn, his parents are still living. Shout out to them.
I met a TJ McConnell who came from upstate New York. I hope he's on the call. He was fantastic. I talked to him after him, and I spoke to Joe, who I hear is listening. Joe, last name unknown. I spoke to them after it was done, and the judge started off by talking about the fact that she was insulted. Now, I thought the reason for all these police officers, in the extra police officers or extra, law enforcement officials, was perhaps there was some type of, I don't know, some kind of threat or something along those lines. In fact, that they confiscated everyone's phones. Now, it doesn't happen. So in state court, you're allowed to bring your cell phone into the courtroom, just like you can't use it while you're in the courtroom. Other than my paralegal and me, they took everyone's phone. Obviously, they didn't take the law enforcement officers' phones, but they took everyone's phones. And judge started off by the proceeding by saying, no one is allowed to record this. And so after the DA just said they were relying on their papers, after I spoke and after Dexter spoke, the judge starts off by going, I need to bring to the attention that there were, I was ridiculed on social media, and I'm waiting to hear some kind of threat or something made for her. Then she said that, there was a distortion of the record and people made fun of me because of my race and my gender.
Ooh.
And I've ignored everything except for the ones that reached me directly by letter. And she said some of these went to District Attorney Eric Gonzalez and his and members of his staff. But at no point did she say there were any threats justifying the use of, there were about, I'm not talking about the New York State court officers who control the courtroom, and there were, about 10 of those. But I'm talking about the law enforcement in the courtroom, and there were easily over 20 of them. And, I'm waiting to hear about some kind of threat to their something. Nothing. She was just angry, and she's just an angry woman. She doesn't have a pleasant disposition, and she was angry. And then she said, "But of course, there's no evidence that this is tied directly to the defendant." And then she went on to talk about how he had broken the law. He knew he was breaking the law. He chose not to get his license. And by the way, in my papers, I call these crimes paperwork crimes. Because if he had a license, he wouldn't have had, if he had that piece of paper, he wouldn't have been prosecuted.
Facts.
It's like, you chose to break the law, and for that, you must be punished, and my sentence is 10 years. She gave no explanation other than that. From a lawyer's perspective, it was weak. She didn't justify it. And when you open up by talking about how you were personally insulted by these statements of people online, and then to go into a sentence without much explanation about it, to me, it doesn't make her look good. So that's what I have for now, folks. I'm happy to answer any questions.
It doesn't look good at all, honestly. And I think maybe she's referring to that one account that we spoke about earlier. The one that people are calling her a DEI judge. They didn't even put Dexter's name on those posts. Those had nothing to do with Dexter at all. We lost him? It's ain't connecting.
And maybe he's having some connection issues.
Yeah, so Dexter's people have, got the message to be respectful and all that. But there's people who wanted to get some Twitter money and wanted to grift, and they were calling her a DEI judge. Didn't even highlight Dexter's case. When y'all see that happening, please be sure to call it out. There was a lady who did that on an account. People were putting their Dexter's links in the comment section, and she was blocking all of them. So that has nothing to do with us. And honestly, she says it has nothing to do with sentencing, but it could. But honestly, it sounded like she felt good about it, because it's kind of like, you guys were talking crap. Now I'm doing this to Dexter.
Yeah, it's almost like a badge of honor. And just to be clear, to reiterate, that was more of like a racist account. Like, they weren't saying anything about the judge because they cared about Dexter's case. They just didn't like that she was a black woman. That's it. Those people exist. We should call it out, but it has nothing to do with us. It has absolutely nothing to do with Dexter Taylor. She was just using that as her own way to grandstand. And the fact that she led off with that.
I love how down in Louisiana they got them birds is outside, boy.
A man in a cage for a decade of his life just for doing something that didn't hurt a single person. So yeah, it's good that we're highlighting this stuff. I can't wait for that transcript, Vinu, because I mean, I'm sure that's going to be good for storytelling purposes. Let's bring up Joe.
Please don't be a white supremacist.
Oh, did that work? Yep, it did. Okay. All right, you're up, Joe. Make sure you unmute yourself. My voice is a little jacked up.
Thank you, Jeff. And I don't have anything to add to it. I wanted to hear what Vinu had to say about what happened inside the courtroom. And I was curious about whether you think that Actually, I do have a question, Vinu. Is it normal in the state of New York, a person with no criminal history to get a high range sentence like that instead of on the low end?
Yes.
It is not. It is not normal. The normal plea deal for somebody who's charged with what in New York is called CPW2, criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree, is usually they'll plead it down one level and offer you 2 years. Now, I didn't think they were going to do that, or they didn't do that in this case. They were making an offer of 8 years. So for her to sentence him to 10, she's giving him what's called, what we in the criminal defense community call a trial penalty. So if you exercise your Sixth Amendment right to a trial, you are going to get punished
for wasting her time.
And just so you know, this is the only trial I've gone. This is the only trial I have gone into in my career knowing we were going to lose. I mean, it's just the way that it was set up. We knew it, and we knew that the only chance we were going to get at least get heard and have a shot was in federal court, but you got to go through the state court process to get there.
Yeah, I'm actually former law enforcement out of Texas, and I really thought that he would lie closer on the lower sentencing range on 3.5 years. I was
it's New York,
gut
sir.
punched at
It's
10.
New
I think
York.
a lot of us were gut punched at 10
You get
years.
5 off top.
I find that ridiculous, especially, you're right, you say paper crime. I call it a process crime. He didn't essentially fill out the right paperwork. It's not much different than, I don't know, your car registration, in my opinion. But I guess that's not the way it is in administrative New York.
Yeah, look, she was sending a message, and you have to understand. I mean, you don't. I don't mean that you personally. The way the New York court system is set up is that it's set up with a bunch of political hacks. This is very different than the federal court system. Not saying there can't be, hacks on the federal court bench. There are, but in general, regardless of whatever party you're affiliated with, most of the people on the federal bench, because they're lifetime appointments, tend to be relatively well qualified to be on the bench. In state court, not the case. She's an ex-DA prosecutor. I am too. I mean, she was.
All right. So we heard that. All right. Well, Calvin, according to the judge, what she said, why is my, don't tell me my mouse died. Okay, there we go. According to what the judge said and what the lawyer intimated was the fact that he didn't have papers on them guns. That's why she gave him the sentence. Right. If he did this upstate, like Reparations Nation said, it would have been no issue. They probably would have just fined him for not having the correct paperwork. But it's New York City. They want to make they play the minority report assumption. Yes. Go take it. Go. Yes. Basically, from what I read, the documentation process is if you do make the gun, you have to basically tell them that you have it and whatever parts you're using. So if you get like bump stock or something, even though that's illegal, but as long as you tell them, they can't say nothing because they have to have something on the books regarding that gun so they could trace it to you. But let's look at other cases of people using ghost guns and let's see what they got. And mind you, Dexter got 10 years for just making it and not having paperwork. We'll be nice to the judge here. No, he created the guns, but what happened was he was buying the parts on a credit card. So what ended up happening is after a couple times, it flagged the ATF. They must have went and did their due diligence and realized that this man never had guns. So they're probably asking themselves, why is he buying all these parts? They'll go into their database. If you don't have any license on file, I guess that's probably what prompted them to start really looking into them. And then, go through social media and all that. That's how I'm assuming it. I have to, like I said, after like really, when they get the transcript, then I'll see how the lawyer tried to defend it. Yes, the ATF, every time you go buy a gun or you go get a license, you go in the ATF system. You talking about this? So I don't fly my guns to states or go to any state that has a reciprocal. Oh yeah. Are you talking about this one? No, you probably talking about this one, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, from what I read for Georgia, I think the furthest, I'm gonna drop the link later. I think the furthest I can go, reparation agent, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the furthest we can go with the permit is Pennsylvania, right? Like if I try to take my gun with me, I think the furthest I could go is Maryland. No, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry. I think that's the furthest I can go. It's not. Let me see. Georgia weapons license states reciprocity. There we go. Let's see. I thought it was Pennsylvania. Huh. Yeah. Reciprocates. Yeah. Well, I ain't got no family in New Hampshire and Maine. I'm saying for me, because my family's in New York. And I have some family in Pennsylvania. So you can have it in Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, of course, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Damn. Okay. So let's go to this. This is via NPR. This was last year. Supreme Court tells Fifth Court to stop its defiance in ghost gun case. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday once again stepped in to leave in place the federal government's ban on so-called ghost guns. These are unassembled and unmarked guns that can be bought online and assembled into fully operative guns. In August 2022, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives issued regulations that required any such disassembled gun parts to carry serial numbers and required anyone buying them to pass a background check in the same manner as in-person gun buyers. The gun manufacturers challenged the regulations in court, and federal judge Rito O'Connor of Texas issued a nationwide injunction barring the rule from going into effect. The Supreme Court, however, blocked those decisions from going into effect, whereupon two of the manufacturers returned to Judge O'Connor's court and won an order barring the government from enforcing its regulations. The Fifth Circuit upheld that order too. The government asked the high court to void rather than just pause the lower court's ruling to send a message that lower court should not countermand the high court's authoritative determination. Now, the Supreme Court has once again repudiated the lower courts, voiding the lower court orders and allowing the ATF regulations to go into effect pending further litigation. There were no noted dissents.
And all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
Oh, Calvin, you got to understand. New York is a funny fucking state because they'll give you 5 years for having a gun in New York, but look how long it took them to figure out what Peyton Gendron did was a hate crime. And he got the shit on tape. Oh, yeah, Cornelius. Especially when you go past, I want to say, Columbus. Yeah, once you go past Columbus, boy, them race soldiers, that's a different kind of race soldier. But you wanted some cases. We got some. Oh, we got some. And let's see if Dexter was warranted in a city court, even though it's considered state, if that was correct.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
So this happened in Pennsylvania. Now, he was already on probation. So this is going to go into the fact of if a criminal has these ghost guns, let's see what he got. Philadelphia man who was on probation for illegal possession of a firearm has again pleaded guilty to a prohibited weapon charge stemming from a traffic stop in Montgomery Township in 2023. James Ditch pleaded guilty on May 1st to a felony count of prohibited possession of a firearm. As part of a plea deal with prosecutors that saw additional charges of firearms not to be carried without a license, possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia dropped in exchange for his plea. Court records show that he has a sentencing hearing scheduled for July 11th at 3 p.m. in front of Montgomery County Judge Wendy Rothstein. Okay, so we got that. So we're going to take his name and we're going to search it. I want to see what he got. Now, this was last year. Let's see. Motherfucker. Let's see. Damn, he got a rap sheet? The fuck? Civil rights employment? Hey, this might not be the same person. Okay, he could have had something else. All right, let's see. Let's look up sentencing. If this is the same dude, so he just got a so he's just got a history with with this court out there in Philly. Jesus Christ, why can't y'all really gonna make me pay for this? Jesus. I just want to see what he got. Oh, it's free? All right. Fuck it. Give me 1 second. I thought I had to pay for it. All right, we should be good now. I don't want y'all to see my government, even though I told y'all this before, but y'all don't remember it, so it's all good. I'm not part of a law firm. Leave me alone. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck you. I'm not paying for this. All I want to see is what he got. That's all I want to see. Jesus Christ. Why y'all giving me all this? Why y'all making me work so hard for this? Y'all don't even have a court number. What is this? Damn. Why is it so much? Damn. You just can you go by state? Oh, Jesus. Why are you giving me Georgia? I don't want Georgia. Jesus. All right, let's see. Let me change this. I didn't even realize it was on Georgia. There's a lot of people with that last name I see. Let's see, verdicts. There we go. I just saw it. No. Get off my thing. Jesus. That's 2009. 2013. Jesus. So you got to pay for verdicts? They make this so fucking hard. They're making it so hard. Making this way too fucking hard. Sort by newest to oldest. All right. I don't know. I tried, family. I don't know. I don't know. Is it this year? Maybe that's why. I'm thinking maybe why would you wait that long? That doesn't make sense. All right, whatever. I have another one. Where's the other one? And then I'm gonna play. Where's the other one? And then I'm gonna play an interview that Dexter did with Dana Loesch of all people. Unfortunately, but I kind of want to hear what he was talking about. Where's that other one? No, that's not it. Here it is. So we have this one. Las Vegas man with violent past sentenced on ghost gun charge. So this just happened. So let's see. He got 44 months in prison. It's almost 4 years. He got I'm white and I say so. Now I know people are gonna say he only had one. He only had one, but he got a felony. He has a felony. He only got nearly 4 years. Dexter is a clean record. He's a clean record. He got 10 for buying and building. Interesting. Must be nice. And then earlier I had this up. So a 22-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of possessing a ghost gun. This was 2 days ago. Nah, he just got arrested, so there's nothing on there. Another arrest. Supreme Court will take up ghost guns case next term. 22 days ago. I see why some of these libertarians want anarchy. I see it now. But let's go to this. God, that's a hard face, boy. All right, let's hear what Dana Loesch and Dexter Taylor had to talk about. Let's see, fair use.
AKA Carbon Mike. He's got his podcast. He's online. He's also, I mean, and I say this because I think it's a compliment. He's a nerd, right? He loves math. He loves machining things. He loves software engineering. Look at all the stuff he's got behind him. That's a nerd man cave right there. But Carbon Mike, AKA Dexter, first off, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention so we can get this story out here. I know Jeff Charles at Red State and some really other great folks have been doing this too. I want to make everybody familiar with this. Everybody knows, Ghost Guns is such a goofy name. So many people I know make their own firearms, and you don't have to serialize them. That's federal law. It's USC 1822 or 18 USC 922 A through Z. You don't have to serialize them unless you're selling them, which you're not doing.
Dana, come here, Dana. Dana, you and the lawyer, y'all still don't get it. Y'all still don't get it. It has nothing to do with the fact that he wasn't selling them guns. It has nothing to do with them guns. It has everything to do with the person you're talking to and what he looked like. That's why he got convicted. No, Calvin, he was building them as a hobby during COVID. That's why they got him. But this is also a cautionary tale for us as a community that's on code, not to put everything online. The world does not need to know every step you take. It doesn't need to know what you and your synapses in your nerves. It doesn't need to know. The whole world doesn't need to know that. Yes, Torian, and welcome back. Yes, this is the same woman. This is also the same woman who it's not fun. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's just so on brand with these quote unquote conservatives. It's just on brand that they say stupid shit like this. Dana Loesch is also the same woman who said MLK might have been alive if he had a gun on him. Yeah. Yeah. Calvin, there's nothing problematic if you want to build your own gun. There's nothing, people do it all the time. Again, we have to reiterate this, ladies and gentlemen. He got convicted to 10 years for paperwork. I don't know, maybe you guys, when y'all were hearing the Twitter space, you probably didn't pick up on it, and I get it. He got convicted for not having paperwork. He built the gun and didn't register it. That's the only reason why he got convicted. I know it sounds bad when you say it like that, but if he had no, they even proved in court he had no intention of using it or selling it. The only way he was going to use it was for his own practice. He obviously wasn't going to do anything illegal. He bought parts with his credit card, so the ATF knew he had them. If you were going to do something nefarious, you would pay cash. You would go to those gun expos, buy it under the table. If some of them still do that. Because I know that's a big business, but it's also, you get caught, you fucked. The Supreme Court has said, and I looked it up, the Supreme Court said having a ghost gun is not illegal. Building it is not illegal. I'm pretty sure this man he was gunsmithing for 3 years before he even started it. So he understood the laws. He wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. They just didn't like the fact that he was building so much. They probably thought he was going to one-man army the shit. I don't know what for. But if he was just doing it so he could go to the range, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But let's hear what he said.
Correct. Not only, basically, not only did not intend to transfer or sell them or anything else, the state of New York should know this because, of course, they seized my daily driver, my computer, my regular desktop, my work laptop. They seized my phone. They seized my credit cards. They subpoenaed my email records. So they know that I wasn't out there talking about guns. I wasn't out there advertising guns. I wasn't out there talking about them on social media. And I certainly wasn't talking or thinking about transferring weapons. These were my weapons, my rifles. I named them. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to start my second career in weapons science, right? I had all these plans to buy some land in New Hampshire and, build a gun lab and,
awesome.
Like kind of bring my expertise as a software guy and as a data guy to firearms. I was looking up to guys like Bill Geisley from Geisley Automatics, who got his first contract, right? Building triggers for the U.S. Army sharpshooting group. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So you are home reading an audiobook or listening to an audiobook. You're relaxing and you heard something.
Yeah.
That was not in the audiobook. You heard voices that were not the people in the audiobook. So you had
What is she, Randy Orton now? You're hearing voices? Are they counseling you? Are they talking to you? Okay. All right. I see it. Go ahead.
no tip off to this. Tell everybody what happened to you.
So yeah, the night before, this was like April 6th, I believe, 2022. So the night before I go to bed, like I usually do, listen to an audiobook. And I woke up and I was hearing sounds, like you said, that weren't the audiobook voices. And then I heard a bang and the voices were louder, like they were inside my living space. And then I saw weapon lights flickering back and forth underneath my bedroom door. And so the first thing I said was, hello, hello, hello. My name is Dexter Taylor. Who are you guys looking for? Because I thought they had the wrong house. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it never would have occurred to me that the state of New York would be like, we have to get this guy, right?
Wow.
So, because again, I never carried weapons. I never talked about them. I never did anything like that. Never.
You don't have a record. You're squeaky clean.
At the time I was rated, I was a member in good standing of the West Side Rifle and Pistol Range in New York. So I had passed their background check, okay? And again, you've seen my work online. Mm-hmm. I'm not out there saying anything or doing anything that would make even a reasonable non-2A enthusiast say, this guy shouldn't have weapons. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so I said, hello, hello, you guys looking for? And they said, we're here for you. And so I said, I played it cool. And, you know, came out of my bedroom and got locked up like a gentleman. And they ransacked my house, took my weapons, took my tools, and that was that. Yeah.
Wow. Took everything. And now they try to make you accept, 8 years? And you said no. You told them to go pound sand, from what I understand, rightfully so.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So by the way, I was arrested. They took me off to first the local jail. I guess that was the 85th precinct. And then I went to Rikers. So I was in Rikers Island for a week, right? Now, my bail, right, to get out of Rikers, my bail was almost $250,000. Okay. Now, this is in a city where people can beat up on cops on camera and walk, right? This is a city where a nutty adjunct professor from Hunter College can chase a cameraman down the street in the Bronx with a deadly weapon, okay, and traipse into the precinct and traipse out the same day. So when people say that this whole obsession with violating our rights is about public safety,
that's a lie.
I'm inclined to say they're lying. Yes.
I'm gonna hold that there for you, because old Dana Loesch still don't get it. And unfortunately, Brother Dexter Taylor had to find it out the hard way in front of a Gahanian judge. He didn't get convicted for having the guns. He got convicted because he's a black man that ain't supposed to have it, even though he's legally allowed to have it. I'm going to take it to race now. I just showed you a white felon who had a ghost gun. He only got about close to 4 years. And he was a felon. Dexter was clean record. He gets 10 years. He has no ties to any group. Oh, Calvin, we're going to talk about that when I drop the line. Dana, I know you don't like black people. I get it, but you white supremacists want to show me something, y'all better really start understanding the laws that are out here. Because I know it's funny when black people are getting hemmed up by them cops. I get it. It makes the cockles of your abyss-filled heart. I get it. It gets that momentary pleasure of euphoria and adrenaline to see us get hemmed up, and then y'all can go on your social medias and your platforms and talk about it. I get it. We're going to tell you something we've been telling you for years. They're going to come after you too. See them white militia boys over there in the West Coast and down south and up in the Northeast, way up Northeast. See, they don't say nothing. They stay off social media for the most part. but they got stockpile of weapons. Dare I say, this might be the way for them to go after them. And I think the U.S. does not want to do that. But again, we've seen the government tell you one thing and then go do something else.
It's a lie. It's absolutely a lie. I mean, we're talking with our friend Dexter Taylor, aka Carbon Mike, who
Now
was
he's your
raided,
friend
by New York in this joint SWAT ATF task force theatrical stunt, because they're accusing him of being in violation of. He's not in violation of the law, but they're accusing him of being in violation of the law. I was reading the press release, legal possession of ghost guns, which is such a dumb phrase.
I prefer the term traditional guns.
Oh, I love that. That's
They're
right,
traditional.
though.
Well, that's absolutely right. It's squarely within the history and tradition of the United States. Absolutely right. And let me say this. Look. It's no. I mean, I myself am of no political affiliation. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. Okay, but it's worth noting that New York State is run by Democrats. New York City is run by Democrats. These are the same people.
And it's also worth noting that you are a threat to them, sir. I know you know this, Brother Dexter, but you're a threat to them because they don't know how you think. If I may be afforded to use a comic book reference real fast, why do you think everybody loves Batman so much? It ain't because that he's been around since the 40s, late 30s. It ain't because of that. It ain't because DC and Warner Brothers overexpose him. It ain't that. It's the fact that you don't know how that man thinks. All them comics that they've put out, all them stories they put out, the public at large still doesn't know how Batman thinks, and it's been damn near 80 years. You think he does one thing and then he shocks you. That's how they view us, especially those that are not politically affiliated. That's why I call them conservatives, safe and stupid. That's why I call them black liberals and even some of them black conservatives. I like to sit there and griff off the names of Thomas Sowell and Shelby Steele and talk about victim mentality and why we can't get our shit together and we shouldn't get reparations. Y'all, you know what I mean. That's why I call them nouveau blacks. Sir, again, you got convicted over paperwork. And that woman wants to make her bones. Because if this was a white boy, she wouldn't have convicted that white boy. If that was an Asian, she wouldn't have convicted him. If that was a Spanish person, she wouldn't have convicted him. She saw you as a threat. Because I guarantee you, when I read that court transcript, it's going to say how you have statements from people in the community saying how much of a beacon you are. You're a threat. And people like Dana Loesch ain't going to say that out loud because it's going to make them white people over there that she caters to uncomfortable. But once again, Dana, them same people that you want to sit on your platform and try to go against Brother Derek Taylor, they're going to turn on you too. January 6th that was a little scuffle. They're going to come after y'all. They've already done it to you, Dana, or did you forget? This is nothing. You cowards should be outside right now, wherever you are at your state Supreme Court and your state capitals, saying free Derek Taylor. You want to save this country. You want to save your right to the 2A. You want to save what the 2A is about. Get on them Supreme Courts. Get on those state councils. Get those state representative seats. You fuckers want to go do federal because the money is bigger. That's it. Go do some real work. Put down the podcast mics. Go get some conservative clothes and go do some real people work. You've got the clout now. Go show me something.
These are the same people telling me and telling people like me, right, that there's murderous white supremacists hiding behind rocks and bushes and trees, waiting to jump out and lynch us from the nearest traffic light. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if these murderous white supremacists and Klan members are the biggest threat to domestic safety, and you care about my health and well-being, well, why are you willing to actually defy the highest court in the land? Why are you willing to contravene the laws of this republic to disarm me? Isn't that
Money
odd for someone who says they care about you?
Yeah,
Clout.
for an entity that says that this is about public safety, when clearly they don't care about public safety. I was looking at these
Correct.
charges. They said, oh goodness, everything. Numerous ghost gun kits, component parts. Oh, he's violating the criminal possession of a firearm prohibition, unfinished frames or receivers, one kind of unlawful possession, pistol ammunition. Oh no, it's not pistol ammunition. Oh my goodness. You can be the son of the president of the United States and you can dispose of an illegally purchased handgun literally across the street from an elementary school, not even properly holstered, in a pouch covered with cocaine, and that's all right. But you making firearms in the spirit of our founders, the historical American tradition, that's a no-no.
Well, I as you're talking, I realized what my mistake was. If I had some Russian hookers and maybe a couple of baseball-sized crack rocks, it would have been a problem. But
don't limit yourselves like that, brother. Don't do that. I'm sure that statement got factored into her decision.
Just identify as Hunter Biden at this point. Just say, no, I'm Hunter Biden. I'm Hunter now.
Did you say identify as? Am I going to be like trans Hunter now? Is that how that works?
But
respect
hey,
my pronouns, Dana. Respect my pronouns.
Apparently it works. We're talking to Dexter Taylor. So I know that you're fighting this, and I was telling people the thing that what I find. I think your case is terrifying. As a Second Amendment supporter, practitioner, gun owner, shooter. It's scary because if they can just create law and then try to retroactively penalize you for it just at their discretion, that's frightening. But also firearms is just a variable that I want people who maybe do not have firearms or who are not as invested in the Second Amendment as we are. If this is a formula and guns are the variable, they can go after anything at this point if they're allowed to have your case set as a precedent.
Well, they can and they do. It's funny. Like I have a lot of friends overseas. My kind of conservative four-man's think tank, the Foundationist Society, kind of first, I guess, gained prominence with people on the other side of the ocean because I did a few interviews with James. At my kind of conservative four-man's think tank, the Foundationist Society, kind of first, I guess, kind of conservative four-man's think tank, the Foundationist Society, kind of first, I guess.
Did he say the Foundationist Society? Oh, by the way, Reparations Nation, I feel you on that statement. Real quick before we go look that up. This too. Both sides don't want us to have guns. It's just the Republicans are being covert with it because they know most of them come from red states and they're not going to get reelected. The Democrats just don't give a fuck. Just thought I'd point that out. I'll put that in the chat so y'all can read that. But he said the Foundationist Society. I never heard of that before. But let's see. Foundationist Society. Okay, so this is his. Okay. All right, so let's look up what foundationism is. Oh shit. Wait, this might not be it. What was it called? 10 percepts of God, that thing is loud, boy. Foundationism. Oh, foundationism. Okay, let's copy this. Go back to, I'll just use this tab. Foundationism. That's foundationalism. Let's see, Dexter Taylor. Foundationism is an American political movement. Broadly speaking, it's the politics of people who build things for a living. Our belief falls outside of the boundaries of traditional left-right politics. We are conservative about some issues and liberal about others. We are secular but friendly to believers. We are forward-looking but respectful of tradition. We love our country with our eyes open. Although we acknowledge the existence of injustice and the need for change in our great republic, we are not revolutionaries. We don't believe in burning down the house in order to fix what's wrong with it. We believe in free markets, but only as vital engines for wealth creation, not as the blueprints for just and functional societies. We believe in borders and the defense of borders, but we understand that the most important borders are invisible and can only be defended by truth plainly spoken, love of order, hatred of injustice, and a courageous trust in one's fellow citizens. We believe in the individual, but only to the extent that the individual is willing to give up petty tribalism and adopt the responsibilities and civic virtues of citizenship. We believe in the state, but only as a vessel for the sacred fire that burns in an individual. We are grateful for the civilization handed down to us by our predecessors. It is the foundation on which we will build the future. It's time to go to work. He has a manifesto. See deeply, listen closely, reason honestly, speak clearly, act bravely, deny the self, defend the individual, respect tradition, face the present, cultivate the future. Okay. All right. Let's finish this off.
Gain prominence with people on the other side of the ocean because I had did a few interviews with James Gilligan from Breitbart. Now, in the UK, for example, right, it's not just guns that are banned, right? It's like edged weapons.
Mhm.
I believe brass knuckles are illegal. I believe like you can't carry around a blackjack, a kosh, right?
Oh,
So when they
Lord.
say it's the guns, like they're lying because if it were
Oh,
really the guns,
Lord.
then
Set It Off is in the building fully. And the Troubleman twins are in the building. The Troubleman twins are in the building. The Troubleman twins are in the building. All right. Back to this.
they wouldn't also go after edged weapons.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't also
Yeah.
go after force multipliers like brass knuckles. So it's not about the guns. And you could look at any place where guns are illegal. Chances are they've banned a whole lot of other weapons that are not ranged weapons. They're not firearms. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is a fundamentally, in my opinion, this is about the relationship between the citizen and the state. And there are people who think that we should be their servants. And that's a problem. I mean, that's just a problem.
It's antithetical to the American spirit.
Yes,
Absolutely.
ma'am. It's
Dexter
antithetical to
Taylor,
human.
I want to stay in touch with you, and I want to bring you back on for regular updates about this case, because this is they're gonna take you through the ringer on this, obviously, as you know. What
Yes,
could
ma'am.
people do to help? Because cases like this aren't cheap. I know that.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a Give Send Go. The link is in my Twitter profile. I believe it's
That's a
Give
smart
Send Go
move.
/
We shouldn't put it
Oh,
on
we got it right
GoFundMe.
down at the
Taylor
bottom. We got it right down there.
Shut that
Lower
shit
third,
down
right there.
quick.
So, and
Beautiful.
we'll put this
that-
out online too.
Thank you. But I think more importantly than that, of course, is first, keep those prayers coming. I need all the help I can get. And second, just spread the word. You see, the optics of this case are obviously very, very bad for New York State.
Yeah.
You know, like they thought they had gotten some guy who was a gangbanger or had a record as long as the arm or what have
Oh
you.
Lord,
And then they
doing
thought
it
they could
again.
flash like this large number, you know, like 18 years, and I'd fold, and then they could shuffle me off to the oubliette and we'd be done. But the fact is, I'm not doing that. I'm going to stand up. And so the
February
optics are bad
5th.
for them, but that presupposes that people are watching. So the more people know about this, the more people talk about this, the more people like you who are generous enough to give me a hot mic, the better, because I'll run my mouth all day about this and show what
Yes.
these people are about. So.
Absolutely. And however we can help, we are in. This is just a crazy story. Dexter Taylor, we're going to follow it. We're going to.
All right. So this was on February. This was in February. Now I looked up really quick because she said we're going to keep in touch. The last thing she said about this. What the hell? I just had that tab. Fuck. I just had that tab open. Oh, here we go. Last time she said something was April 17th. That's the last time she said something. There you go. Last time. April 17th. And that's when she had on Jeff Charles. It's, I guess, to put more on it. All right. Can I post it? Yeah, give me 1 second. Shit, I just closed it. Give me 1 second. That's the link for the show. Let me go get that manifesto. What are you crying for? So, well, I was gonna say something wrong. Let me be quiet. All right, there we go. And that's the manifesto. All right. Go back on X now, see if they're still doing that space. By the way, I looked this up. Tucker Carlson didn't say nothing about this. And this case has been going on since last year. Didn't say nothing. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if anybody prominent says something about this. All right, there, Jeff. Everybody should be talking about this. Let's see. Night Court. Okay, so that guy that was in that space talking before we left, he's doing a space on it. Okay. Let's see. This is all the latest. I want to see because again, he got sentenced already. Let's see. Jeff Charles again. Christopher Skelly. Let's see who you are. You're a libertarian in Brooklyn. Hotep Jesus fans. Okay. Oh, they ended the space already. Okay. Go back. I'll go back in there later and see what I missed. That boy ain't got no neck. What the hell? I didn't even notice that before. This man ain't got no neck. Jesus Christ. So I don't see any big voices out here talking. Why y'all big voices out here talking? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why y'all not talking? It would be nice. Dexter needs your help. But I figured as much. All right, I'm gonna also put it over for X. They want to come in. I put the manifesto in there. If y'all want to take a look at that. And I'm also going to put in the link. There we go. All right. Let's bring up the first person. Reparations Nation, go ahead. Reparations Nation, go ahead. Okay, while they get that situated, we're going to do some more digging. Now, this was in New York. It says NYPD granting fewer gun permits after Supreme Court ruled they had to grant more, data shows. What does the data say? This was back last year. That is a big boy. God dog. That's let's see. The NYPD approved fewer new licenses to people requesting permits to carry or keep firearms in their homes or businesses in 2022 than the year prior. Data obtained by the city shows, despite the 2022 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that found a key provision of the state's longstanding gun control law violated the Second Amendment right to bear arms. Hey, Judge Darkeh, Darkeh, or whatever the fuck, Darkeh, whatever. I thought you said the Second Amendment didn't exist in New York. Hmm. So you approved 56% in 2021, but you went down to 21%. Interesting. Very interesting. Reparations Nation, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah. So about this case, yeah, we already discussed that the brother needs his paperwork, and that's the big thing I wanted. I had a bunch of points, but the big thing I wanted to say is that we as black people need to know our state laws, um, federal laws obviously as well, but we need to know our state laws so that we can be compliant in the state. And what I just tell everyone is, if you're gonna get one, get your concealed carry license because that will number one, you don't have to go through background checks anymore after that because they know you already got one from the police. And two, it's reciprocal in other states, and that way you can carry and be safe in other states. Like I said in the chat, I don't go to states where it's not reciprocal because I want to be safe wherever I go, safe as I can control as far as that goes. And yeah, the dude just didn't have his paperwork right, man. Brother should have knew his state laws. I know he put that manifesto up, and like I said, that didn't help him much either, having that kind of manifesto. But if he had that paperwork together, he'd have been fine. He'd have been totally fine. And I tell everybody, if you're going to get a firearm, just get what the local law enforcement have. We hate them. I hate them. I can't stand the feds or the law enforcement. And I say that proudly. But I carry what they carry because it's legal. You know what I'm saying? They can't take it from me as far as that goes. I'm not in violation of anything as far as that goes. And it's the same thing like when you get suppressors. If you want to get a suppressor, you're definitely going to be on an ATF charge. You got to fill out ATF forms to actually get one. And it may take 6 months to a year for you to get it. Suppressors, short barrel rifles, all that kind of stuff like that. Short barrel rifles, anything under 16 inches for those that don't know. Pause, as you like to say. But all that stuff, you got to get a tax stamp for that. $200 tax stamp. The ATF gonna send you. And this is you get a butt stock on a short barrel rifle. You got to get that, and you got to pay another $200 tax stamp for the short barrel itself. So it's $400 you got to pay to have a short barrel rifle that's properly kitted out so you can use it properly. So just know your local state laws. We know this is some racial bullshit. They got him because he's a black man, clearly, because white boys do this shit all the time. The only difference is most of these white boys, they're not putting it out online and talking to people about it. You know what I'm saying? They keep all that shit tight lipped and they do that kind of stuff illegally. But just to be legal, know your state laws, people. Just know your state laws, because without that, it's a wrap. You don't know your state laws. It's an absolute wrap. Sorry,
Your
that's my
dog knows that too.
yeah, that's my big hunting dog. So I keep them around too for them people that want to break in. But yeah, just know your state laws, people. That's all I gotta say, because that's the one thing that'll keep you safe and in compliance. And they're not gonna be busting down your door if you're in compliance with the state laws. Just carry what the feds carry. Oh, last thing, ammunition is something on that as well. Ammunition is bullshit, and they have issues with ammunition as well. And so know what kind of ammunition you can carry and not be hemmed up. Because you can have the right gun and it's not gonna be a big deal. But if you got the wrong ammunition, they can get you for that too. So just like I always say, just carry jacket or hollow points, just like the feds do, and you should be good.
Mm-hmm.
And know your state law. Just know your state law. I have some other points I was gonna say and stuff too, but you know, anti two way is all about gun control. Um, don't tell anybody what you carry and how you carry. What else? And just remember, we black, so they always gonna be on our ass about that shit. So just stay in compliance. Just stay in compliance. And that way can't nobody get you for shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I land my plane there.
All right. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Y'all see what's on the screen, correct? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And this was a cop. This was a cop. Corrections officer. We don't make any distinctions, but yeah. People that have been trained to protect us. They were out there smuggling drugs into jail. One of them got caught outside before he walked in. He had to work on him. And what did that same judge do? Let him go with supervised release. But Dexter Taylor gets 10 years. Now, again, he just got convicted. I should expect to come on here and see live streams. Where are your live streams? Y'all should be outraged. I don't see any live streams. There's Dana Loesch. Where are y'all's live streams? I can't be the only person here talking about it. I can't be. Okay, so we have Kingdom Radio. Okay. Are you serious? You just okay, so you're replaying a space. Okay. That's it. Oh yeah, I read about that. Okay, maybe y'all not about that live stream life. I get it. I get it. Maybe y'all are recording now. I get it. Let's see. Let's look up video. And then we're gonna look up upload date. Let's see. 10 days ago. Oh, here we go. We'll do it like this. Relevance. We'll do it by last hour. Huh? Let me see. Oh, you took down your video. Okay. Okay. Let's do today. Let's do today. Okay, so Dan Loesch just said something an hour ago. Okay, at least you're consistent. Let's see. Talked about Biden. You should have let off with that, Dana. You should have let off with that, Dana. Let's see.
We are doing everything we can to let the people leave.
I don't care about BB.
Yes, it is. It is Alyssa. Alyssa from Bakersfield. It's Monye. Okay, I get it. You're just like, we're gonna force you to start.
Okay, come on.
A few things. So I guess like the biggest thing so far that happened over the weekend. And we have the ongoing legal
over the
stuff, which
weekend.
we're just gonna bring you up to speed on because they got Michael Cohen who's testifying.
Michael Cohen. Okay. There they go selling her shit. There goes talking about the war. Let's see, maybe
Having a good time. Now there's another problem with her book.
talking about somebody's book. Okay, so you're talking about Christine O.M. Okay, you still vote for Days of Our United States. Maybe this is it. Let's see.
For some answers. We've given them to them, but they're
Nope. You're talking about crazy ass Nancy. There you go. Talking about Trump. Okay. Trump proposes new tax cuts. Okay. Promises new tax cuts. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see what she said.
This story of Dexter Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And Dexter Taylor, he was on the show. What, February? I think he was on the show. He was on the show in February.
February. You heard her. She says you're going to keep in contact. February. February. I don't know if you peeped it, family, but there was something that I wanted to show you. I don't know if you peeped it. Jeff Charles, shout out to that brother. He put up his post, right? I'm finna show it to you again. Give me one second. I want to show you this again. I just want to show you something because that's why we love to say we don't believe these motherfuckers when they talk. Okay, here we go. He had to tag Dana Loesch. Why is Dana Loesch not talking about this? I understand maybe she missed it. She was on her show. Here we go. 2 hours ago. Now that man got convicted about, what was it, about 3 hours ago? Maybe in the morning. Okay. So you reposted Dexter Taylor there. Okay. But that was to his gifts and go. So you said something. All right. Very good. 4 hours ago. Why are you not in the streets? You should be out in the streets. You should be out there heavy. You NRA. You should be out there heavy. Where are y'all? Bring old Wayne outside. I know it's cold out in New York or wherever you're at. Bring Wayne outside. Bring Mr. Dupree outside. But go ahead. Bring Dupree outside. Bring the other one. La Pierre. Bring Wayne La Pierre outside. Bring everybody outside. Let's go. Let's go.
And he was just sentenced to 10 years in prison for building his own firearms. Now, we had a number of people, including his attorney, on to discuss this. We had his attorney on just a couple of weeks ago to talk about this. So as you know, the way you can, and this is what they call quote unquote ghost guns, you can build a firearm and use it for your own personal use, your own enjoyment, so long as you don't sell it. The moment you sell it, and it's your own property, the moment you sell it, it has to be serialized. Now, serial numbers used to be a gun manufacturer's way of tracking batch and what gun was sold, etc. Now, the government gets involved, and now it has to be serialized. So if they were going to sell it, and it's not, and it's only if you're within the state where you are domiciled and you are a legal possessor, then you can do an interstate private transfer. If you're selling it outside of state lines, then you have to go through your FFL, your federal firearms licensee. But if you're selling a firearm, it would have to be serialized. And here's the other thing. If you're making and selling enough for it to be considered, and the ATF even has a percentage of your income that is used to substantiate this. If you're selling enough, then you not only have to have them serialized, but then you have to get your federal firearms licensee and all this other stuff, your license and all this stuff, and go through that whole. But that's irrelevant here because that's not what Dexter Taylor was doing. The federal law states that you can be a hobbyist and you don't have to serialize your.
So I wonder if he would have gotten in trouble if he just gave it to people. Millie, go ahead.
Oh crap. Sorry. I was just I was a little bit ill prepared to trying to get up to speed with what you guys are talking about. It just
sounded like you were ordering a takeaway.
Did it?
A little bit.
Sorry. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Airwaves and stuff. So I'm just trying to it seems like it's an American Dexter Taylor sentenced to 10 years. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm familiar with Dexter Taylor's endeavors, so if someone could please clue me up on it.
Basically, he was during the coffee venereal disease, he was making guns in his house, and he was buying parts with his credit card, which prompted the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, to start a case on him because they wanted to know why he was buying all these parts. And through their investigation and the fact that he had no paperwork or a license, I guess, to whatever the fuck they want to say that he didn't have a license for, ran up in his house, arrested him, charged him with 37 counts, and he just got convicted today. It was 10 years for those guns. Yet we showed earlier people who had felonies having these same ghost guns because he wasn't selling his guns. He was just doing it because he was a hobbyist and he was a gunsmith. He was doing weapon science. We showed felons that had those same guns, same type of guns, and they only get 4 years. So we're just showing the hypocrisy of the American government here. But also the overall arching thing of this show is the police are not your friend. And they're not here to protect you.
Yeah, it's the same thing in the UK. We have the same allergy to the filth in the UK as you guys would. That's why when the whole thing with George Floyd happened, we turned up in the UK because it was like, yeah, we have the same thing. Because we knew that this country were going to try to wrap themselves up in glory. And usually when something happens in America, this country steps up to try and wrap themselves up in glory. But was he based in New York?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And I know in New York, they're not allowed to carry handguns and stuff.
That's fine, but he wasn't carrying the guns. He was just making them in his apartment.
And he weren't selling them or anything. So don't see.
He was going to the range with them.
Going to the range. So he was just a bit of an enthusiast. That's, from the UK. That's how we identify most Americans, as enthusiasts for that sort of stuff. So. So yeah, that is a bunch of bollocks. That is quite frustrating for me. So I'm glad that I'm included on it. I'm hoping Professor Black Truth will do a thing on it, and he'll just absolutely uncover, leave no stone unturned, and actually really take the American justice system to task. Which I know it's been happening, but it's just this is absolutely trifling.
Well, here's the thing with the American justice system. It's not so much that we could just keep talking about it because that's easy. We have to really start talking about the people that they're letting into it. Because now you're starting to see a bigger number of quote unquote people that are not native to this land getting in there. I think it's time for us to have that conversation because the judge in this case is Gahanian. And she told that man and his lawyer and everybody that heard in that room, your Second Amendment rights do not exist here.
Wow.
And they still let her get off with the sentencing. No mistrial, no nothing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is something.
Yeah, it's every day.
Okay. It's just, you got flipping pussies like Carl Rittenhouse, crossing state lines to kill with the intention to kill people, and then here this man was just storing guns. I think they were saying, if they wanted to run roughshod at his house and start shooting up, obviously he'd be tooled up. So I guess they want, in my imagination, my thought is they probably want people, especially black people, to be completely inebriated and completely defenseless against them. So this brother who's got a bunch of guns, they trying to think in his gaff he'd be armed and ready. He'd give him at least a bit of a headache. So I guess that's the reason what the intention is, and them sentencing him to 10 years is trying to send a message to any other black people who want to follow in his footsteps.
No, because this is what's going to happen. Just like what happened with Peyton Gendron, that black number of gun ownership is about to go up.
Good, hopefully. Professor Truth,
because especially with what happened with Roger Fortson.
Roger Fortson. Was that the thing happening in Florida?
Yes, sir.
Flipping it. Yeah, that was flipping disgraceful. And this was you would have thought these maniacs from the NRA would have been talking all about it, because it's like, okay, here's a soldier, you know, his MFers went to his gaff, and they only started shooting at him when he got to, because they were saying, "Oh, come to your door, come to your door," and then obviously he doesn't know who it is because the idiot didn't even identify himself. So, and even if he did identify himself, he'd still be well within his rights because he doesn't know who it is. So obviously he came to his door with his gun, and then that's when they just like emptying the bullet, distributing bullets to him. And it's a crying shame. And really, in an ideal world, those bastards, not even being this, he should be sent down. He should be locked away in a cage where not even the birds could land the droppings on him. And but unfortunately, you know, America being America, they're probably going to find a way to give this guy a pass and get him back on the beat, which is just as disgraceful as you can imagine.
Well, here's the thing. They still don't have his name, but for that county in Florida, it's not an anomaly, because that was the same county where they shot that man while he was handcuffed in the back of the squad car 22 times because an acorn fell on the car, and the cop thought that was a gunshot.
Flipping heck. And they shot him 22 times. Is that also
he shot into the car 22 times. I think they said they hit him 6 times, but they let him resign.
They let him resign. They won't give him the job, but like it would if it was a black person. They probably throw the book at him. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I think it was also where that man was caring for the autistic fella. He got shot even when he had his hands up. And then obviously the most famous one the world over was the Trayvon Martin case. It's like, so they're all about their guns in Florida. It seems like they have all these stand your ground laws and all the rest of that. And here this person was, who had every right to have his gun to his door, because someone's banging on his door saying, like any idiot on the streets could just say, "Hey, it's the police, open your door." So obviously he had every right to have his gun, but this fool didn't even identify himself, and he's still like, you know, oh gosh, this is just, it's making my blood boil right now. So yeah, and especially in a state like Florida, which is just one of the most craziest, wackiest states in America. Like in the UK, we identify America as a wacky country. Like us black people in the UK, we probably grew up as children like wishing we could stay in America, but as grown adults, we're thinking like, I don't know if I want to live in America. That country is so crazy. And Florida is probably the worst of the worst. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking place, but it's just like, it just looks the kind of laws they got. And obviously you got that twat moron DeSantis running the show. It's just like, yeah, there you go. It's just, you know, who's opposed to children being taught history in school. So there you go. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna land my plane because I'm just waffling on. But I appreciate this opportunity, because literally I talk to myself and I know I'm losing me nuts. So having a platform like this to speak on, one is definitely appreciative and grateful.
No problem. And there's nothing wrong with talking yourself. Just don't do it with more than 2 people around.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, that was Millie. Yeah, so while he was talking, I hope y'all saw what I had on the screen. There you go. There you go. They could take your car and not give it back. You heard what I said. Even if you didn't commit a crime, they can take your car. And sell it. I forgot about that part. Sell it. Now made me fuck around and do the Florida game again. Woo. But we gotta, as a people, now you know what state. This is a federal ruling. The case was based out of Alabama because 2 women got their car seized for over a year and they didn't do nothing. But this is a federal. They said they could keep that shit. This is why paperwork is very important, family. I know we like to say we like to stay off the grid as much as we can, but we also got to understand we're operating in this system. So make sure everything is in order. Everything. Now, early predictions, I think he's going to get this turned over. He might have to do a year or two. The only problem is this is the thing. New York is a bitch ass state because you can't get rid of a conviction. That's the only thing. And that shit follows you. He might have to get a pardon from the governor. Or maybe they could get the clean slate. That's the only. That one might be tough. No, I'm not. No, if he has to sit down for a year or two, hopefully she's not in office, but whoever is there, let's hope. That is what I'm talking about. Clean slate law. I know Hoochie Cunt ain't gonna. She's not gonna. She wouldn't do it. I know that because she needs political points. Would be nice if New York got somebody that wasn't politically affiliated. We'll see. All right. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I will try to be better next time. Paperwork. That's the word of the week. We're going to start that. Word of the week is paperwork. Because they don't care. Right, Mike?
And all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
They don't care about us. They never did. They care about the public trust. They care about the businesses. They don't care about us. But we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to make sure that we impart y'all with the information necessary to come outside and make informed decisions. And make sure you could be able to protect your families, your neighborhoods. Because it's clear they are not protecting us. That's why I say so much. We should do neighborhood watches and eliminate their influence. Anyway. You said, what's the Set It Off theme song? You know that Set It Off theme song, the goddamn... Didn't y'all say it was the En Vogue? Ah, Donnie, hello. Hello. Hey, I was going to sign off, but if you would like to come up for a couple minutes, I know you did some talking in that space, but I can't... Maybe you could give us a little bit more insight on what was going on and how Dexter's doing. And if y'all want, I'm not asking y'all to do it. I'm just saying, I'm not asking y'all to do it. But if you would like to contribute to his legal fees, you can do so. You can do so. I'm going to give y'all the opportunity. There's the tweet and with the link in there. I'll give y'all the opportunity. This is crazy out here in the streets. They don't like us. Ms. Nisi, you said what was the set it off theme? I know I got distracted. You said what was the set it off theme? That En Vogue song. I ain't finna play that. I gotta figure out another one. I'm not playing that song here. They're gonna make the fellas feel some kind of way. I don't even know what other song they had in that movie. I don't know. Let me look up. They said. Let me look it up. I don't know who outside that song. I don't know who else had music on there. I ain't even gonna hold you. Busta Rhymes was on that. Oh, Organized Noise. Oh hell no, that's way too slow. This is like they got number of slow songs. Damn, they got a lot of slow songs. Wait, Ray J was on this? All right, say less. Go ahead, Ray J. I think I found the song. William Moran said, I would like to know what I can do to see about removing punishing the judge. Has there ever been launched? I had to step away for a minute. Yeah, we can schedule something, Donnie. I will hit you up on X. We can do that. We can do that because I know you and Jeff have lives. You have lives and animals to tend to. I understand. I understand. We can definitely schedule that. What can you do? New York is funny because you can't even recall the mayor or the governor unless they do something corrupt and they resign. Let's look that up. Let's look that up. Can you recall a New York State Supreme Court judge? Let's see. We're looking. Did you hear no? What happened was we left after the lawyer talked the second time because I had to get to other stuff. But that sounds like something went on in there. I'm finna go look. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Laws governing recall in New York. Except the justice of the peace may be removed from office by the Supreme Court for any misconduct. Let's see. What's this? Impeachment and removal of judges and explainer. Judicial impeachment shouldn't be used to punish judges for their ruling. Here's why. Most states' procedures here, but in some states, including New York and Nebraska, a trial following impeachment is conducted by a court comprised of state officials and/or state judges and others. The numbers of votes required to impeach. See, that's the problem. It ain't gonna work because New York is full of Democrat judges. It's not gonna work. There's way too many Democrats. That's why they couldn't get anything done with what's his name? The jackass they tried to impeach. If you're a Republican, you're fucked. Anybody else, yeah, it's gonna be hella tough. Like you have to be corrupt. They don't even want to impeach you. They want you to resign off top. because they don't want to put themselves in that crosshair, because everybody's going to be looking at them. Damn, where's the space? Because Donnie just said something, and it sounded like it sound like somebody was going in there talking. And I know one thing about Donnie, because I've heard her do other spaces. She not with the BS. So let me see. Where is that space? I don't want to go through. Oh, here we go. Let me see.
Was his parents, his did. Now
history to
it is not. It is
your car registration, in my opinion.
up because I'm going to be up because I'm
Identical.
Oh, here we go.
most of New York State. So
maybe it's here.
The process
In sentence, depending on what the people say.
With you, while I hear you and I appreciate what you're saying, from a legal perspective, he was looking at more than 40. He was looking at more
People safe or the rule of law. This is 100% about
13 firearms, the Eighth Amendment,
and shut it down. But I kind of wanted to leaning people there.
Regardless of whatever party you're affiliated with,
She's
most
still
of
here.
the people on the federal bench, because they're
Oh, those. Oh, I thought you had people in your space falling out. Oh, you said. Oh, I heard the chickens. I heard them. Oh yeah, I heard them. Oh man, I thought that was. I don't know what that was. It must be today. It must be today, because I heard that, and then I heard somebody else. Them animals wilding out today. No, Alvin Bragg is the one. He does Manhattan. He ain't got nothing to do with Brooklyn, because he got convicted in Brooklyn. I forgot who the hell the DA's name in Brooklyn was. What's that jackass's name? What's that jackass's name? Eric Gonzalez, right? I was gonna say, I made fun of him. How did I forget that? Yeah, Eric Gonzalez. How did I forget about No Neck? I can't believe I forgot about what. How you say neck again in Spanish? How you say that? I forgot. I think it starts with an O. I think it's an O. Cinquelo, right? Cuelo. Eric de Cuelo. How did I forget about that? And we just did it. Damn, I need to eat some more salmon. I might go get some salmon. Anyway, back to this. And then I'm getting out of here, because now I'm going to start rambling, and y'all ain't going to like it when I start rambling. So I thank everyone. I appreciate everyone showing up. I appreciate this. And like I said, when I get off of this, pause, I'm going to go into the studio and make sure I have timestamps for everything. So if you don't want to listen to the entire 2.5 hours almost, you know which parts are important to get to. So we are we're less than 6 months away, family. We're less than 6 months away. It's gonna get fun.
TikTok, 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 TikTok.
It's gonna get fun. But just stay the course. And again, I have to reiterate this: in 12 days, they're gonna be out there. I'm just gonna tell y'all now. It's best we stay on social media that day. It's best. It's best we stay off social media that day. We know what day it is, because them folk out there, they're going to be wilding out.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
They're going to be out there wilding. They already making their memes, because they were projecting through Hoochie Cunt. They were projecting that they don't know how to use computers. So they're struggling right now, especially with Photoshop. I suggest we all stay off the date. Stay off that day. And then when we see the article saying that there was less engagement on a Saturday on social media than ever in history, we're going to be like this here.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's perfect.
All right. I'm going to go get some salmon. You guys go enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay dry, and stay vigilant. And we shall end the show with a very powerful message. Take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence. And free Derek Taylor.
Continue with the moment of truth in just a moment, but first, a word from the official sponsor of Black Empowerment, Power Tools. There's no telling when something's going to come up, so make sure you carry your power tools at all times. You never know when you're going to need to bring the hammer down, or when you'll have some trash that needs to be blown away, or some obstacle that requires cutting down. Don't get caught empty-handed. Keep your hammer close by. Keep that leaf blower at the ready, and always carry your steel. Power Tools. Because no matter what your day job or side hustle may be, there's no excuse for not being ready to put in some work.
Time's up.
At the end of the day gotta end.
Hey!